In this video, we will walk you through the process of how to sign and submit the FAFSA or the ORSAA. We will start with the FAFSA. Ideally, both the student and the parent will have an FSA ID. They will use their FSA ID as a legally binding signature. This is the easiest and cleanest way to submit FAFSA signatures. Not everyone can create an FSA ID. Printing and mailing a signature page is the second best FAFSA sign and submit option. Lastly, submitting without signatures with the intention of following up to sign later is the worst option. A lot can go awry in between submission and actually providing signatures. When in doubt, just submit. FAFSA runs checks to catch potential errors before the FAFSA is submitted. This is intended to make life easier for families, but it can cause some concern. FAFSA might bring up a screen that asks, "Is this correct?" For example, if a parent reports $53,000 in income, but reports that they didn't or won't file a federal income tax return, FAFSA will question the integrity of the data. If this screen pops up, families should carefully review the information and make sure it's accurate. Parents who do not have a Social Security number but who file federal income taxes are also asked to review the information. These parents will use a taxpayer ID to file taxes, but must use all zeros as the Social Security number on the FAFSA. FAFSA will ask the family to verify that this is correct for both parents, so it can seem as if they are answering the same question several times. Keep clicking that the information is accurate, and the student will be led to the next step in the submission process. In this example, both the student and the parent have FSA IDs. They will click in the box to agree to the terms and conditions and to provide their electronic signature using their FSA ID, username, and login. The student or parent will click on the Agree button, then click Next. If the student or parent does not have an FSA ID, there is an option to print the signature page. Pre-COVID, this was an easy option during a FAFSA ORSAA completion event held in a computer lab, as the page could be printed out immediately, signed, and sent in via the U.S. Postal Service. With COVID, we do see families who cannot obtain an FSA ID for the parent and who do not have the ability to print at home. In this case, you may have the student print the signature page to a PDF file. The student can then email the file to a trusted adult, such as a school counselor, to print the form. The form then needs to be mailed back to the student, the appropriate signatures must be added, and the form must be mailed to the address printed on the form. I include an addressed and stamped envelope to the process center when I mail the signature page back to the student. I don't assume that the students have access to envelopes and stamps, and I don't want something as small as a 50-cent stamp to get in the way of the student completing the FAFSA. Once the FAFSA is submitted, students will see a congratulations screen. They will receive an email at the same time. Be sure you see the congratulations screen and the student receives an email. If they don't, it means the student may not have submitted the FAFSA. Take the time to verify that the FAFSA really was submitted. You may see some estimates on the screen, especially for the federal Pell Grant and federal student loans. These are estimates. Financial aid professionals must still do their magic to make the funds appear. Now we'll go over the ORSAA submission process. It is different than the FAFSA, so it's helpful to walk through each separately. The student and one parent will sign the ORSAA. The ORSAA only allows for electronic signatures, so the student and parent must both create an ORSAA account. As we mentioned in the second video, a separate email must be used to create the parent's account. We also went over how to create the appearance of a second Gmail account by adding the plus sign and a number to the end of any Gmail address. The ORSAA process can take a bit longer than the FAFSA signature process. Hang in there with the students and family until the process is complete. Before they may continue to the signature process, families must review the answers provided on the ORSAA. Students may not check the acknowledgement box unless they have first clicked the View Form button and previewed their answers. This will open up in a new tab. Again, we prepared this training before the ORSAA opened in October of 2020, so we are showing you last year's screen. Remember, we want to verify that the student is completing the ORSAA for the correct academic year. Students who graduate high school in 2021 should be completing the 2021-22 ORSAA. Students and parents must consent to use their electronic signatures on the ORSAA. This is one of my favorites because I'm not sure a student could get to this point without the required hardware and software, although I've never tried it myself, so it might be possible. Students and parents will type in their first and last name as they were reported when they created their ORSAA account, provide their ORSAA password, and the name of the city and state they are in when they sign the ORSAA. This information serves as their legal signature. This shows a student application that has been signed by the student, but the student has not yet invited a parent to sign. The student will click on the middle icon to invite a parent. The parent will then be instructed to create an account, walk through the information posted by the student, and process through the same signature process as the student. Once you've reviewed the 9 core videos and feel confident that you know what you need to know, we invite you to apply for certification as an OSFA 2020-21 FAFSA and ORSAA completion mentor. Follow the link below this video to take your certification test. You'll be asked if you'd like to volunteer your time and expertise with students and families across Oregon as they complete their FAFSA and ORSAA forms. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, all volunteer requests in the 2020-21 school year are for virtual assistance. If you wish to volunteer, check the box and you will receive notice of completion events approximately 1 week to the email you provided. We appreciate any time you can contribute. On behalf of the Oregon Association of Student Financial Aid Administrators, thank you. When students complete their FAFSAs and ORSAs accurately the first time, it makes the financial aid process much easier for them and easier for the financial aid offices at colleges and universities across the country. We appreciate your partnership in helping students and parents in our community.